So this is it today, huh, guys? They actually sealed Gojo. That's wild. Even sealed! This man is such a problem. It's wild. How do you make a character that breaks your own series to this extent? That's just such a wild concept to me. Where the writer himself has to write him out by saying, yeah, let's just seal him. Let's just get him out of here so the story can progress. That shit is so funny to me, guys, but that's what happened is our boy Gojo is sealed now. And I gotta say, it really feels like this is going to be our last dialogue-heavy episode for quite a while in JJK. Because it feels like from here on out, we're just going to be throwing hands the whole season. And I'm here for it, honestly. That sounds great. So let's just get straight into it and talk about Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, Episode 10 today. Because our boy Gojo is gone. So our episode today begins where our last one left off with Mekamaru warning everyone that Satoru Gojo has been sealed. And as we transition to the man himself, we hear again, "Good night, Gojo. We'll meet again in the new world." As Gojo tells him, "Maybe for me, but it's time for you to wake up already. How long will you keep letting it have its way with you, Suguru?" And it's in this moment right here, we see Geto's own body fighting against the person who took it from him. It's wild. As our little parasite can't help but laugh at the absurdity of it all, saying, well, this is a first. As he says, "Mahito, look at this. You propose that the soul exists before the body. But actually, the body's part of the soul. And the soul is part of the body. There's no other way to explain this phenomenon. Or the fact that the body's memories flow into my brain after I swap hosts." As Mahito says, "Does that really have to be a universal truth? Are you sure the world doesn't operate differently for our technique and mine?" As he says, "So each technique has its own worldview, huh? I like it. What a lovely idea." What a wild idea if that's the case, actually. That's kind of wild. And so our boy Gojo literally tells him, "Alright, look, if you're gonna do this, hurry it up." As he's told, I wanted to enjoy this sight for a bit longer, but you're right. I don't want anything to happen. As he says, "Gate, close." And right before he's sealed away, the last thing he sees is his friend smiling at him. And with that, Gojo's gone. As Mahito says, "So we can't use this anymore, right?" And he's told, "Yeah, it only holds one. Unless the man inside kills himself, it's unusable now." And it's here as we transition back to Yuji and everyone. We see that this is quite a hard story to believe, as Mei says. We're talking about Satoru Gojo here. What proof do you have for me to believe you? And to be fair, in this perspective, her skepticism is warranted. This is Gojo we're talking about here. As Mekamaru says, "If I gotta give you some proof, it's the very fact that I'm here." As he tells them, "I was killed on October 19th by the special grade cursed spirit called Mahito. What's here right now is no more than the insurance I left when I was still alive. Quite advanced insurance. So I had no choice but to set its conditions for activating to after Satoru Gojo has been sealed. To decrease the risk of it not going off, I only managed to sneak these puppets into 3 locations ahead of time." As he starts telling them that Yuji Itadori was the Jutsu High Sorcerer least likely to be leaking any information. That's a fact. And Mei, given the situation, I'm certain you're in the clear too. Because someone as skilled at intelligence gathering as you was dispatched here to Meiji Shrine Station instead of acting in the shadows at Shibuya. But Mei tells him, that might have been so I'd have an excuse to refuse aiding them, right? Besides, I'm the one who's kept stopping Itadori from heading right to Shibuya. But Mekamaru counters and says, if that's the case, then why is a curse user heading your way to eliminate you now? As they all sense someone approaching. As Mei deduces that it's 2 people coming. And it's here she asks Yuji, Itadori, which is stronger, these 2 or the cursed spirit you fought earlier? As he tells her that these 2 are probably stronger than the grasshopper. As she deduces that the cursed spirit that Yuji fought before had to have been a semi-first grade or higher because it was capable of human speech. And that if someone even stronger is coming right now, that this could be a problem. As she says, let's ignore these cursed users and move forward. We need to confirm Gojo's status first. But Mekamaru tells her no, the situation in Shibuya has already changed. Their barrier techniques are several degrees better than ours. And it's here he starts explaining to them that there are 4 veils over Shibuya right now. 1, a veil trapping common people inside. 2, a veil trapping Satoru Gojo inside. 3, a veil keeping sorcerers from entering. And 4, another barrier to keep common people trapped inside. As Mei says, and you're saying the area further down these tracks is blocked by C, the one keeping sorcerers out? And he says yes. As he adds, the sorcerers on standby are already inside the veil, right? And you can't use cell phones inside the veil either. As Mei says, I can't get a hold of the assistant supervisors who are supposed to be outside the veils right now. As Mekamaru tells her, please follow my directions. This insurance of mine won't last long. Please. As we see Yuji makes his opinion on the matter very clear. As Mei says, fine, tell us what to do. And it's here Mekamaru starts giving out orders saying, Yuji, return to Meiji Shrine Station and head to Shibuya from the surface. Tell all the sorcerers there about Gojo being sealed. Get them to share our goal of recovering Gojo. As he says, Mei, create an opportunity for Yuji to escape. After defeating the curse users, I'd like you to follow this track for starters. I don't know what the enemy will do, so adapt and respond. As Mei asks him, by the way, they haven't frozen your bank account yet, have they? So we see this woman's all about her money, man, and I can respect that to an extent. We ain't doing nothing for free. As Mekamaru adds, if Gojo disappears, both Jujutsu and human society will be upended. I'm sorry, but please stake your life on this. And it's here as we see these 2 fodder-looking cursed spirits approaching them. It's time to put the plan in motion. And it's here as we transition back to Geto and everyone here. We see Gojo, even trapped, is putting up a hell of a fight here. As he says, I can't believe this guy. And as we transition inside, it looks like the realm itself is afraid of this man. As Gojo says, looks like physical time isn't passing in here. I really screwed up this time, didn't I? But after thinking about his students, he says, it'll all work out somehow. We'll be fine. This man Gojo's too much, dude. I like that he didn't even think about Yuji right here, too. He just thought of Megami and Nobara here, not even Yuji. As he says, I'm counting on you, everyone. And it's here as we transition to our other teams here. They're trying to piece together what's going on right now, as we hear, even accounting for those trapped inside the station. The crowd density was low. So the transfigured humans were lying in wait inside the buildings. And now they've started attacking the non-sorcerers, huh? And that's why we've stopped standing by and started to act. As Nanami says, our response is falling too far behind right now. But my biggest concern, as Megami answers and says, is the veil keeping sorcerers out that lowered at the same time, right? As Megami says, it's been some time since Gojo arrived at the scene. Why did they choose now of all times? As Nanami says, either something's happened inside, or they needed to wait for this moment as part of their strategy. I mean, we know what happened. But all I can say for certain is that these aren't the types to face us without a plan. Nanami knows that from experience. As he tells them, I'll focus on the enemies who lowered the veils. You two, rescue all the common people you can. And it's in this moment we see every team enter the veil all at once. It's starting. And it's here as we transition to our next scene. We hear something we probably shouldn't have, as we hear the ceiling is complete. However, the prison realm still hasn't finished processing all of the information that is Satoru Gojo. The man is quite literally too much. We won't be able to move it for a while. And as they're quickly discovered here, they break Mekamaru's camera right here. As we hear, they got one over on us after all. And it's here Mekamaru tells Yuji, good news, they can't move Gojo from where he was sealed on B5. Because he's Satoru Gojo. Best explanation by far, by the way. As he tells him, we'll have sorcerers follow the subway lines into Shibuya Station from each neighboring station. And once the veil keeping sorcerers out is lifted, we charge right in there. And it's here as Yuji breaks his way into the barrier and sees the horrors that are happening inside. He can't help but to save the people in front of him. As we can definitively say that Yuji has leveled up this season. He's gotten much better. Because it's here as he takes out these cursed spirits and literally scales the side of this building. He shouts at the top of his lungs, Nanami! Gojo has been sealed! And upon hearing that, Nanami knows this is bad. As he immediately says, alright, change of plans completely. We need to meet up with Yuji right now. If Gojo's really been sealed, then it's over for every human in this country. And it's here as we transition back to the cursed spirits. They know after that little incident that all the sorcerers are going to be coming to that spot right now. As Geto says, I'm staying behind. What are you all gonna do? As Choso says, I'm getting revenge for my younger brothers and killing Yuji Itadori and Nobara Kugasaki. Then I'll go get the rest of my brothers from where they're being kept in Jujutsu High. As Jugo says, I don't care about this Kugasaki, but you cannot kill Itadori. We're turning him into Sukuna. And it's here Mahito chimes in and says, you know, I think I want to kill Itadori too, actually. As Mahito says, you know, what I can see after Gojo's been sealed in prison is that now that he's sealed away, the sorcerers and cursed spirits are evenly matched. If Sukuna's resurrected, we'll have a huge advantage, sure. And victory's basically ours. But that also means we're perfectly capable of winning with the forces we have now, right? As he says, so let's just kill Itadori. Even if we lose Sukuna, we can still win. I don't know about y'all, but it feels a little personal why Mahito doesn't want Sukuna around after he sunned the shit out of him in season 1, but whatever. And it's here we start getting into Jugo's mindset a little bit, as he says, I don't need to be the one smiling in the wasteland a century from now. As long as curses can live as people, then that's all that matters to me. As he honestly makes a really good point here and says, Sukuna isn't our ally. We might even be the ones facing greater risk if he's resurrected. But if Sukuna is resurrected, that's guaranteed to usher in the age of curses. We're not like the humans of today. We don't fear death. And we follow the path to our goals without falsehoods. That is the essence of us curses that those fakes lack. And it's here we have a battle of ideologies, as Mahito says, you're wrong. No matter how off-kilter or inconsistent, we always act in accordance with our true desires. That's what it means to be a curse. As we see, they both have very different perspectives here. And it's here that Mahito says, so how about we play a game? If I run into Itadori first, I'll kill him. If you find him first, you can give him the fingers and let Sukuna regain his power. As Chozo adds, and if I find him first, I kill him. That okay? As Mahito says, that's fine too. As Geto says, I have to stay here and watch over the prison realm. I'll abstain from this competition. Do whatever you like. As far as I'm concerned, Sukuna was just the alternative if the prison realm failed. And with all that said, our race for Yuji begins. And it's here once everyone's gone. Geto suddenly says, those cursed spirits are smarter than you two. As we just hear, give him back. As we see the two girls that Geto rescued earlier in our season are here, and they want his body back. As they say, don't toy with Geto any further. But he tells them both, obviously, I'm not giving him back. I don't recall leaving your heads empty too. Next time you make a promise with the sorcerer, you should make it clear that it's a pact. Now be gone, or do you want to be killed by this body? And as they leave, they tell him, you'll regret this. As he says, regret, huh? And it's here as we transition back to Yuji. I kind of love how Megami just comes up behind him and smacks the shit out of him like, hey, we're here, dummy. Stop shouting. And now that everyone's here, it's time to bring them up to speed as we hear, wait, Geto did. As Mekamaru tells them, to be precise, the thing that's living inside Geto did. The inside of Shibuya Station is currently a real pandemonium. It's full of those special grades, the cursed spirits they brought with them, the curse users tied to Geto, as well as transfigured humans and normal people. Essentially, our situation is really bad. As Nanami says, in that case, it'd be faster to attack through the subways from the neighboring stations. But to do that, we need to lift the veil first. I guess this isn't the time for complaining. As he says, there are several requests only a first grade can fulfill. I'll step outside and take care of all those with Ijichi. I'm sure he doesn't have a sword piercing his back right now multiple times. He should be completely fine. During that time, I want you three to do something about the veil keeping sorcerers out. As he says, Ino, Kusakabe and Zenin's special first grade. Sorcerers should be inside the veil as well. If you're able to meet up with them, tell them the situation and request help. As he says, take care of these two as well. I'm counting on you. As you can tell, that means a lot to him. And now with Nanami gone, he tells these two flat out, before we start the mission, let me make it clear how important this is. There are two issues with losing Gojo. The first is the collapse of the Gojo clan. The Gojo clan is currently a one-man team of Satoru Gojo himself. There's also lots of sorcerers who have been saved due to Gojo's influence, pride, and whims. You yourself are one, Yuji. This brings us to issue 2, the collapse of the power balance. All the cursed spirits and cursed users who've been keeping quiet because Gojo was around will start taking action all at once. And if those guys start a war while we're dealing with issue 1, we'll lose. As he says, let's go, guys. We'll break that veil before Nanami gets back. as we see Operation Rescue Gojo is in full swing. And with that, our episode ends. Man, what a clusterfuck of information this all was, guys. Even I'm sitting here like, man, I just talked a lot. But with this, everything's in motion. Everyone knows what they need to do. And again, Operation Rescue Gojo is in full swing. I'm very interested to see where we go from here. I just imagine that it's just going to be straight hands from this point on. And I'm really looking forward to it. We've gotten everything out the way, and it's time to just flat out fight. And it's going to be great. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this episode down below, because I can see Shibuya really picking up the pace from here on out. And I'm here for it. So I'd love to hear your opinions down below. But until next time, guys, I hope you all have a great day, week, month, and year. And until then, deuces, have a blessed day, and I will see you guys next time. Deuces.